How's it going, everyone? It's Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. Duggers and Digettes. We are looking at more Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, and today we have a fan favorite for real. I don't think there's a single monster who more people like than this guy. Dead serious. But here we have the Nargacuga. Now the Nargacuga, he himself is a flagship monster. I'm pretty sure he's a flagship monster, a second generation monster. I'm not 100% fluent with the second generation games, but I want to say it's probably like Dose or Freedom, Unite. I don't know. I know that Tigrex is in there too somewhere as a flagship, but regardless, I know he's in there. He's probably Dose. No, that's Kush's Dose. I don't know. Whatever. Regardless, Nargacuga, he is here. Now, Nargacuga honestly is, for some people, I've talked to a couple of people recently. They said they had a lot of issues, not a lot of issues, a lot of trouble fighting Nargacuga in this game. And the one thing I can confirm for you guys, that Nargacuga himself has actually been buffed in this game. Some of his attacks are actually, they come out a little bit quicker than they used to. He doesn't seem too slow. They actually sped him up. That's what I mean. They kind of sped himself, the monster, up, because he felt a bit sluggish in the last game, and a lot of people complain about it, especially the hardcore fans. They kind of complain about it. But today, let's look at the armor that I'm actually wearing right now. I'm using the same mix that we use forever, attack of small focus. I'm using with the Kezu dagger dual blades, upgrade only once. So these dual blades give me thunder and paralysis, which I kind of use in conjunction to do good damage to him with the thunder, and also keep him in place so I can continue doing good damage with the paralysis. So that's my setup right there. Now, fighting Nargacuga is a little difficult. So far he's not like any monster you've actually fought before. If you've been following my videos, or you're roughly around to this point, he's not like any monster you've fought before. However, there's only a couple more monsters after him who kind of pay homage to his abilities. So one thing you need to understand and need to watch out for is his tail. As you just saw right there, he has the ability to slam his tail down with tremendous force, doing great amounts of damage. Very well could, one-shot you if you're not very careful, so watch out for that. He has the, I guess you could also call it, ability to leap and bound and flip and dash this way and dash that way. He's kind of quick, and a lot of people, so they spend a lot of time just chasing him around. So what I would do when fighting Nargacuga is first understand his movements. Okay, you need to understand his movements. You need to understand what he actually does. Each monster in the game, they only have a set pool of attacks. Nargacuga is no different. You just need to understand what some of his attacks look like, some of his tails, what he does when he does certain attacks, so that we know how to fight it, more efficiently. So one thing that Nargacuga will do is he'll getting like this little pouncing state. When he's in that particular state, it's actually good to throw a sonic bomb when he's in that particular setup or whatever, and then he'll fall over because the sonic bomb disrupts him and he falls over. So if you can't throw the sonic bomb, just know that when he's about to do the pounce, he has the ability to actually lunge at you with his wing blades, up to 3 times. What I do is, when I see him in this pouncing setup, I guess you could say, the stance is the word, I actually circle around to the back in hopes to, just do a little bit of damage there, because he can't actually hit you if, you're behind him. Unless he wants to whip his tail around, which he will. Like I said, the tail is a very important tool to his, his fightings. So pay attention to the tail, understand what his stances mean, and how to actually combat these stances, and you should be relatively okay. My advice to actually go on here using a weapon is to use something that's very nimble, very light. That's why I totally chose to use the Kezu daggers here. I didn't want to really go with anything that was kind of heavy, like the great sword, sword and shield. I haven't been using that. I haven't been using it as of late, but it's also a really good choice to come here with styles. I would totally go in here with either brave or adept. Adept and Nargacuga, it's a very good way to actually practice your adept attacks, because a lot of Nargacuga's attacks, like I said, they have very large tails. You can kind of see what's about to go down and when it comes out. None of his attacks really are very active in terms of frames, so actually dodging through it to get the adept dodge actually a little bit easier than other monsters, because some monsters, they have attacks that have long active frames, so that way you can literally adept dodge and still get hit with an attack. Not Nargacuga. Most of the stuff comes out really quick and very flashy, but if you're going to be doing any of this very flashy, very quick, fancy stuff to fight Nargacuga, you need to know where to hit him when you do hit him, and that is in his head. Now the funny thing about Nargacuga, he has a plethora of hit zones. Just hit him in the head. Okay, there is another hit zone where it's actually a very weird multiplier. They usually go multipliers of 5. This one is actually a multiplier of like 6, I think. Yeah, 6. It's a multiple of 6 as opposed to 5, but don't worry about that. It is the next highest damaging hit zone, but compared to the head, is actually below about a good 16 points. So I wouldn't even bother with it. So just hit him in the head if you can. And if you're gonna do any of these head hitting attacks, come here with either thunder or fire. Now thunder has the edge, but fire has a very high hit zone on its tail. So if you want that tail to come off, I guess fire should be your choice there. But if you just want to defeat them to get general materials, thunder is probably your best bet. It just has more damage on multiple hit zones. I mean, the fire is not that bad either. It's just that the thunder edges out a little bit more in most of the hit zone stuff. For one thing I will say, it is the same damage if you hit it in the head. So if you're head hunting, fire or thunder equal in terms of damage, but more body shots and arm shots and wing shots, that's thunder's kind of deal. Now you're gonna want to fight him quite a few times, okay? Maybe not for the armor. The armor isn't like super good. It does give you evade distance, which is equal to, I can't talk today, I apologize, equal to the skill evade extender, allowing you to actually evade a bit more of a distance. So let's say for general purposes, you do a dodge roll, you cover 6 feet with your normal dodge roll. The evade extend, you'll cover like 9 feet. It's just a little bit more, you know. For someone who likes to use like lance or any kind of weapon who has like a sidestep or a back hop, those people that I know, myself included, like to use it a bit more because it allows you to cover a bit more ground than you normally would in a very static position. So that means you can actually, like with the lance, you could back hop and get right back into the action. Whereas with the dodge roll, yeah, you could roll out the way, but you have to like, you know, draw your weapon back out again. Whereas the back hop, your weapon's still in your hand. Switch axes like this too, the side hop and everything. But if you also use like a Valor style and you're in Brave stance, a lot of weapons actually get this little dash instead of like a roll. That helps with that too. Things like Arc Demon mode, you know, for dual blades. But it's pretty decent skill. But other than that, it has 8 points into the skill known as Expert, which is also known as Critical Eye, increasing your critical hits or your infinity by 10%. But it's only 8 points to it. But one thing that the armor does actually have is the waist has no skills in it, but has 3 slots. So you can actually fit into a couple of gems in there, and boom, you'll have the skill if you want to. Lastly, let's talk about its weapons. And this is usually the segment where I tell you if his weapons are good or which one you should actually pick up, and the answer is just yes. Okay, that is the answer. The answer is just yes. If you ask, hey, should I get Dark? Yes. Which one? Yes. But yes isn't a weapon. Just yes. Okay. Yes. Yes to all. Nothing he has is bad. Pick anything. Okay. Anything. Blade Master or Gunner. Now I know there's some Gunner weapons that's a little bit better, but for the most part, let's say you're Blade Master. Just yes. Okay. Yes. Why? Because off the cuff it gives you 100 damage, which roughly around here is about the norm in terms of the actual raw attack number, which is fairly nice. Another thing that actually gives you is a very large chunk of green sharpness, which is good. Green sharpness is good. Is what we use to actually, you know, hit the monster upside the head with. A couple of them might have right now are still yellow, and you might have a little bit of green on a couple of your weapons, but the Nargacuga weapons have a hefty amount of green sharpness, so that's good. Now the thing that makes it so beautiful is 40, or certain weapons have 40 affinity. For instance, we're using the dual blades right now. The I forget exactly what they're called, but the Nargacuga dual blades, they have 40 affinity off the cuff. If you don't know what affinity is your critical hit chance. So let's say you're using its armor with the skill Critical Eye +1 put in there, and its weapons. You have a 50% chance to hit for a critical hit. So that means 1 out of every 2 of your hits for the most part are going to be a critical. It's like flipping a coin. Early on, that's good. That's real good. So even late in the game, what makes his weapon so good is the fact that they actually have natural white sharpness and then natural purple sharpness later on. They have high natural sharpnesses. You don't actually need sharpness +1 or sharpness +2 to actually make his weapons dope. They are automatically dope right out the box. So that's why I say his weapons are really good. They are very good weapons when it comes to affinity, some of the best. The natural sharpness for them being so high is actually really good, so you don't have to actually worry about skills like sharpness +1 or 2 to make the set go off. And the attack, even in game, is fairly decent. You know, I think it's like 310 roughly, and most in-game average decent attack range is about 330 to 340. So if you add that with the very high sharpness multiplier, with the purple sharpness multiplier, and then the affinity, you should be right smack even. I don't really do the numbers when it comes to that, but it should be, for the most part, fairly solid. But everyone, with that being said, that's pretty much all I can really say about the Nargacuga. I know I talk greatly about the weapons, but that's just to really emphasize the fact that its weapons are very good and you should totally pick some up. Again, remember, if you're going to be fighting him, aim for the head, use fire or thunder to do so, matters really not. And his armor isn't too good, but his weapons is top notch. Everyone, hopefully this video met you well and you learned a thing or two about the video and actually helped you hunt this monster for yourself. With that being said, it's been your boy Dak908. I will all talk to you later. Take care. I will all talk to you later. What the heck? I can't talk.